Tarnishing, sterling silver, the hypocritical, self-righteous downfall of a nation. The irreputable damage to the NBA brand and its owners as their personal closet skeletons begin dancing on the media stage will prove catastrophic. Judgment Day by tarnished judges. Averted or delayed. Reflection, perspective, direction on us, the United States. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed or hidden that will not be made known. Matthew 10. Let us recap our unholy, political, correct way of justice in us. Number 1, bannerman for life. Number 2, fine him over $2 million. Number 3, declare him mentally incapacitated so he has no legal say. Number 4, and then sell his team out from under him? Is this what you want? Some kind of American-style Sharia Law? Listen, we are all tarnished judges. Therefore, any judgment rendered must be mixed with mercy. Now, here's a warning. Verse 13, there will be no mercy for those who have not shown mercy to others. But if you have been merciful, God will be merciful when he judges you. James 2, verse 13. The judgments in us, United States. All future heads are on the platter. If a precedent is set and Mr. Sterling is deemed incompetent, then all who live in us are in trouble. We are a slip away or just one step from persecution when saying anything politically incorrect. Our love for this nation, our freedom-loving nation, is fallen. Millions, perhaps 1 billion or more people worldwide would love to live in this greatest nation on earth. Yet, we who live in us are doing everything in our foolish, political correct power to become like them, freedomless. The Unthinkable Fall of America series clip. Now, this is basically a clip chapter. This saying has been said, but it must be said again. We have seen the enemy, and it is us, the United States. While we beat, weaken, and condemn ourselves to death, economically, ecologically, and morally, our enemies outside and more increasingly within become stronger and stronger. Solutions, not slander, is the answer. Rome fell from within, and so will we. Because of our hateful, unforgiving ways, we will fall as a people. And the we includes you who are unmerciful. Today, we mercilessly beat down those who have supposedly wronged or offended us. Fatally soon, falling as a nation, we will receive no mercy. That's right. We will call out to our allies, I have fallen and I can't get up. But no real help will come. So many hypocritical and self-righteous statements have been made, especially by the media. You would think that those who eloquently spoke such political correct indignation were themselves in all their actions sterling silver. Today, no one can rightly make that claim. Not Mr. Sterling, not Mr. Silver, the NBA commissioner, myself, Chuck at worldemergency.com, the author, or you who are casting stones with banishment for life plastered all over them, as if you had no sin. You stone throwers who are talking your self-righteous talk while walking your ungodly walk, please understand. You are seriously tarnishing your own character. And here's a warning. You are heaping great judgment upon yourself, such damnation. More harm is done to your own near future than could possibly be done by Mr. Sterling in the next chapter of his life. we must remember. Verse 24, with the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more. Mark chapter 4, verse 24, NIV. Here's crosstalk. ESPN boys. Listen, the hypocritical hysteria on the airwaves, stuck on stupid statements throughout, took even me by surprise, especially when the sports media, yet the nastiest slander came from ESPN radio hosts. For starters, the crosstalk segment. Some of the worst remarks began with the Mason and Ireland show, until the bitter end with Max and Marcellus. There seemed to be no end of childish cheerleading chatter, like silly girls gone wild. Wicked, stupid statements are spit out daily. Now, it would take 1,000 pages to list down all the foolish, hateful words spoken by the ESPN crosstalk host and a host of others in the cow herd. Frankly, it's between the agnostic cow herd and self-proclaimed atheist Max Kellerman. Yet, since Mr. Cowherd rightly predicted San Antonio Spurs to win in 5, I will give him a pass, or pass over him, a word the Jew man, Mr. Kellerman, should understand. Let us now examine his words, and as for the rest of you, if the shameful shoe fits, please repent. Max Kellerman, in his own words. Hey, jackass, Donald Sterling is such a jackass, he can't even get it right when he tries. Any damage done to the NBA was done by him, you jackass. And now you're gone. The NBA is better off because you are a terrible influence on the league. Tap out, you jackass, and scurry away, jackass. Everything bad in the NBA has come from Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling, nobody wants you connected with anything to do with you, jackass. The NBA is doing great. It's going to be just fine. Scurry away. You've always been a bad influence. Bad for the NBA. You've been a rotten, miserable owner and a rotten, miserable human being. Go away. Good riddance. It's amazing. To this, Marcellus said, man, ye judge, ye shall be judged. Now let's go back to the rant. Good riddance, Donald Sterling. What a jackass. Just shut up, Donald Sterling. Go away. Goodbye. You stink. You've always stunk. Now get out of here. And by the way, Shelley, that goes for you too. The two of them. Shelley, she's a jackass too. She doesn't get off easy. The two of them, rotten people. Goodbye. I'm glad to be rid of them. They stink. The air already smells better with them gone. And one last thing, you jackass. Now, throughout the rant, Marcellus Wiley was saying, don't do it, Max. Don't do it. He tapped out, and you're going to keep pounding on him. The NBA race to sell and avoid voting. Is the NBA without issue? Man, ye judge, ye shall be judged. Don't let me start taping your conversations at home and see what you come up with. Leave that man alone. He tapped out, Max. Will you leave him alone? Let it go, Max. It's an amazing conversation. By the way, Mr. Marcellus Wiley, your statement was profound. Your short Bible quote is from the old King James Version. Here's the full commandment. Verse 7. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye met, it shall be measured to you again. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 to 2, King James Version. Marcella says, speak on it throughout the show. Well, okay, it's time for a national media Bible study. Now, whether you believe the words or not, or foolishly have no fear of your Maker, I beg and plead with you. Reconsider your ways and actions, especially the lack of self-control over thy mouth. Judgment by your Maker will come, and you will have to answer for every word. That's right, every tarnished, bitter, unforgiving, careless statement from you, like a shovel or better yet a bulldozer, you'll decisively digging your own grave. Verse 36, but I tell you that men in the judgment will have to give an account for every careless word they have spoken. Verse 37, for by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. Matthew chapter 12, verse 36 to 37, NIV version. And one more matter, Mr. Max Kellerman. Since you say they smell so much, I think you should check yourself, especially around your own mouth, because the smell from the other end seems to be doing all the talking. Now, all right. Yet now I too must repent, because of my digging back at you is doing what our Maker commands us not to do. Do not repay wrong for wrong. Don't exchange tit for tat. Verse 15, make sure no one pays back wrong for wrong, but always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 15, New International Version. Now, young man, here's some wisdom from the hood, even your ancestral neck of the woods. In the days of Israel's judges, one of your ancient brothers of Judah, a judge named Samson from the family of Dan, with a donkey's head, jackass, killed 1,000 men. Verse 16, and Samuel said, with a jawbone of the ass, an ass upon asses, with the jawbone of the ass, I have smitten 1,000 men. Judges chapter 15, verse 16, Young Literal Translation. All right, these words are not so salacious as the mayor of Los Angeles, but you get the point. Don't be an ass jawbone, my brother, or what's smitten may be your own career. And furthermore, you should live the understanding lesson I learned listening to you regarding the old Jewish story of the rich miser. The miser learned from the rabbi an understanding of compassion about those who are going through many hardships, living within tragic circumstances. Oh, Rabbi, he cried, those poor people with no warm clothes or firewood for winter. I never knew. I never imagined it could be like this. This is miserable. It's horrible. I never knew. Honestly, something must be done. And I believe Mr. Sterling is learning. Yet the understanding you and all others like you should learn is not to throw more stones at those who are already down. And I submit to you that Mr. Sterling, in the end, may be a major blessing to the city, state, and nation. For starters, blessing 1,000 students with $25,000 each with a Starter Scholarship Fund program. That's right, $25 million. Much more details will be given on the Sterling Project, and perhaps within the next chapter of his life, he will title the Sterling Transformation. But now, let us focus and finish on the mouthpiece of the nation, the nasty, tarnished, lying media. Today's news media throughout America, and sadly the rest of the world, have become experts in distorting the news, then reporting it. The distortions and lies of the media are so prevalent that it is an amazing wonderment that their nose does not grow long right before your very eyes, coming through your TV set into your living room and suddenly spraying its lying mucus into your face. Now, this is from the Unthinkable Fall of America series. The lying Pinocchio media. Now, I call him Pinocchio because it's from all nations. Pinocchio is what has been taking place, the lying slander of many, the source for the prince and power of the air. The senseless, evil mindset of Mr. Max Kellerman. Displayed is the same wicked sentiment millions carry throughout the country. Tragically, this dump truck of condemning those who fall short from the false political church has been dumping its toxic message across the nation for decades. Remember, the judgments against Jimmy the Greek, former sports analyst Kevin Garnett, even the beloved Larry Bird, right down to Mr. Barry Bonds. Now, excuse me for rehashing some of these stories by dusting off old statements, but we simply have not learned from the follies of the past by criticizing or firing those who misspoke or simply told the brutal truth. Now, here's Mr. Bonds and Larry Bird and Karen Garnett. Remember when Mr. Bonds was being berated by the media? When asked about steroid allegations, he profoundly said, I still remember the words, all of you have lied. All of you have said something wrong. All of you have dirt. All of you, when your closet is cleaned, then come and clean someone else. Now listen, everything he said is absolutely right. Personally, none of you, especially you media hounds, are clean in any way. So stop, please stop, self-righteously accusing and judging as if you were. Even the pristine, clean Larry Bird didn't get a pass from you media whores within your self-righteous witch huts. Witches flying around. Bird was, he felt he was disrespectful. It was disrespectful to his game. Bird felt it was disrespectful to his game when they put a white guy on him. He also said it's a black man's game and it will be forever. This bold statement was deemed inappropriate. Like some reverse racism, stupidly many were offended. Well, it's been a while. Hopefully all of you sensitive sugar britches have gotten over it, because he was exactly right. Trying to guard Mr. Bird with some black, more athletic, especially in that era, was many times still unsuccessful, let alone with someone with less agility. Now, you can foam at the mouth and frown all you want about me, supposedly being racist, but at the end of the day, you know I'm right. Yet today in America, we're all so terrified to speak our mind. And when the no-nonsense Kevin Garnett was just speaking his mind, he too came under media fire. He said, this is for all the marbles. I still remember this interview because he's sitting down and he's got his hands, and it's like he's got a weapon in his hand. This is for all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house holding up a pump, loading up the Uzi. I've got a couple of M16s, a couple of 9s, a couple of joints with silencers on them. I'm just holding up clips and a couple of grenades and missile launchers with a couple of missiles. Yes, you can imagine what happened. The Timberwolves switchboard lit up with callers complaining about Garnett's choice of words. Now, just again, silly little girls in this nation chattering. Now, like what did Pat Riley said it best? We've got to get a grip. We've got to get a grip, nation. Yes, listen, this past Memorial Day, when we honored our men and women within the military for their past and future sacrifices for this nation. Yet, I don't know any military personnel who is too thin-skinned and offended by Mr. Garnett's nothing statement of motivating himself. He was simply talking about war in basketball, just like the many football and wrestling wars I've experienced in my own day. That's right. Listen, which I was blessed to win every match. Even playing the game of chess, you're at war. Because, frankly, it's a game of war. And if you don't go in having a warlike mentality, you are more likely to lose. Yet again, other ESPN hosts, the beloved Mr. Freddie Coleman, former football great, jumped all over Carmelo Anthony for comparing his hard challenges in basketball to war. Listen, I'm just paraphrasing here, but he said, let's stop making references to war when talking about a basketball game or sports. You're not going to come under fire squad if you miss a shot. Listen, for you, Freddie, here's an old phrase from Chicago. That's dead and stanky, young man. Or shall I sing the old Curtis Mayfield song? Freddie's dead. That's what I said. I'm sorry, young man. Now, again, it's not about a bloody battle and deadly wars today. No matter what the struggle, maintaining a survival mentality is essential. Seriously speaking, you think that when Christ returns to reign as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, along with the task of trampling down the nations, he's coming with some kind of UN peace treaty? No. This time around, no one will nail the Almighty to a tree. I guarantee it. Now, if you're somehow confused thinking that this is not the character of God described within your Bible, I suggest you go and look again. Verse 2. Why are your garments red, like those of one treading the winepress? I have trodden the winepress alone, and the nations. From the nations no one was with me. I trampled them in my anger and trod them down in my wrath. Their blood spattered my garments, and I stained all my clothing. It was for me the day of vengeance, the year for me to redeem had come. I looked, but there was no one to help. I was appalled that no one gave support. So my own arm worked salvation for me, and my own wrath sustained me. I trampled the nations in my anger. In my wrath, I made them drunk and poured their blood on the ground. Isaiah chapter 63, verse 2 to 6, New International Version. Now, listen, even if statements by some seem insensitive or racist, must we all jump on them at once, decide to take them out, back, and kick the blank out of them? Then ban their bloody body for life? Again, where is Jimmy the Greek today, who was judged, sentenced, and executed all in no time flat by the media? His statement of slave owners placed their big black buck with their big black woman. So what? So what, guys? So what, everyone? I can imagine that statement being historically correct. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm glad I wasn't there. Yet he was banned for life, ostracized by everyone, thrown away and forgotten. I remember sports host Brent Musburger. I thought a friend of Mr. Greek, yet he distanced himself so fast it was like Carl Lewis breaking not the 100 meters but the sound barrier. And again, I'm still, because I can't find him on the media. Where is Jimmy Decree? Listen, just say mating with big black women and you're gone. And speaking of big women, I don't know, well, okay, I do know where they are. That's right, I got it on good authority from Charles Barkley. You can find them in San Antonio, Texas. Okay, all right, I'm just having fun. They're the typical size and shape of women. Not just in Texas, but many throughout America. Here's a banner of women, and yet in the author's humble opinion, big yes, beautiful also yes. Yet here's another silly example of people getting their Piccadilly panties all twisted in bunch. Again, Charles Barkley charged with heavily criticizing, pun intended, all right, big old fat women in San Antonio, Texas area, are up in arms and offended. Women via the media mules that carry their message demanded an apology. Chuck said there will be a cold day in hell if he apologizes. Now, all Chuck Thompson, the author of this publication, has to say, if the shoe fits, wear it. If your foot is too fat, maybe you need to lose some weight. Listen, when we place our energy in improving ourselves, not only don't we have the time to be offended, there will be nothing we will feel offended about. Moreover, we are admonished by our Maker to maintain this mindset. Verse 165. Great peace have they who love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Psalms chapter 119, verse 165, New King James Version. My point is, with these old stories, and now today, current news condemnations, there's a wicked pattern of slander in this nation, and this pattern of false political correct nonsense has become a strong radical religion. And if you're not a current card-carrying member, you had better get your dues up to date by attending sensitivity training. Be fired or worse. Remember, here's the banner of Don Imus, Paula Dean, and Phil Robinson, persecuted by the false political correct church. The well-documented insensitive statements made by Mr. Imus, rumored racist words, and said so much, can't even get it out, by Paula Dean, along with Mr. Robinson, just speaking his mind, is when the self-righteous church choir sings its band for life song. No, listen, don't even hardened felons get 3 strikes. What a sad indictment against those who came against the right of Chick-fil-A to fairly and freely conduct their restaurant business anywhere within our supposedly freedom-loving country. I believe that's gone. Also, unthinkable actions by some high-ranking yet very, very low-thinking officials who verbally attacked and actively tried to block and ban Chick-fil-A, the freedoms our military fought and died for. Now, here's a banner where you find 2 men kissing in front of the restaurant of Chick-fil-A. But I just want to speak to everyone. Let us come to a meeting of minds, a mutual understanding as citizens of this great nation who must live in peace. Here you have Charles Barkley. Wow. And then a restaurant genderless sign and Dennis Rodman. All right, the picture, it speaks for itself. If you believe there's nothing wrong with the 2 males kissing in this way up above, then there's Nothing should be wrong in your eyes with Mr. Barkley and Mr. Rodman dressing up in women's clothing. Therefore, since I don't criticize you to the point of getting you fired or banned for life, don't sentence me to sensitivity training or have me fired or banned for life. Listen, must we all join your listen, I want to be careful when I say this, so let me start again. Must we all join your denominational congregation of political false correctness? Should the whole country be ruled over and dominated by your misguided point of view? Reflecting perspective. Listen, no, the Lord is even critical in his own word about a do-nothing people, calling them out by name, stereotyping them as a bunch of lazy liars. Verse 12, even one of their own prophets has said, Cretans are always liars, evil brutes, lazy gluttons. This testimony is true. Therefore rebuke them sharply, so that they will be sound in the faith. Now, this is in Titus, chapter 1, verse 12 to 14, the International Version. So, now what? Should the Lord Almighty be banned from writing? Should his carpenter business now be taken away? Or worse, should we take away his life? Well, I'm sorry. We've already done that. We've already did that, didn't we? The whole world has. Now, in my book, What Should You Do Before the Tribulation Age of 42, I comment on disrespectful statements by Bill Maher. And it's not just Bill Maher. It's many throughout the country, throughout the world. Host on Political Correct Show said in one of his joke-filled monologues, paraphrasing, because of all the wars and tragedies in the world, everyone on earth should bring a class action lawsuit against God for failure to protect his creation. Now, he elaborated a little bit more on this comment, but his statement went along these lines. And unfortunately, I believe it's a sentiment, joking or not, many have about the eternal. Now, Bill O'Reilly wrote a book, Killing Jesus, regarding killing Christ. Mr. O'Reilly, I would like to commend you. Your book, Killing Christ, took a large set of cojones to write, young man. Yet, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember you noting that you too are responsible for killing Christ. Because we all are. And today, because of the false political correct church, the whole world would try to kill Christ all over again. Yes, that's right. Even so-called Christians. Listen, I have the video proof within the Unthinkable Fall of America series, Christ on Trial. Here you have a banner on the hot seat. You can watch this video presentation on my blog. As a matter of fact, the media world did just that. One of his students, disciples striving to live a Christ-like life, Chris Broussard, gave understanding regarding the openly gay NBA basketball player Jason Collins, stating, it's a sin. I don't believe you can live an openly homosexual lifestyle and an openly premarital sex lifestyle between even heterosexuals, whatever it may be. Now, ESPN, his employer, they expressed regret. And listen, I don't know whether Chris was silenced or not, but I didn't hear any sports news reports from him for at least 2 weeks. I believe it was actually a month. Silenced him? I think so. Yet, where is the regret? The outcry regarding Mr. Broussard's comment on the openly premarital sex heterosexual crowd. No protest there. And no sensitivity training required. Now, since the heterosexual are not taking offense, why should you? And the same goes for the NFL football player, Michael Sam, who's openly gay, all right? But even his father is reportedly struggling with the news. And now, should his father be sent to sensitivity training, or because some of the, former Soviet Union don't like homosexuals, expel him to the waiting arms of Russia's President Vladimir Putin? I don't think he likes me butchering his name, so let's say it correct. Vladimir Putin. Now, do my words brand me as a homosexual hater? If so, it's not what's on my heart. Anyone who truly knows me would tell you that. Borrowing a line from the late, great Heavy D, I got nothing but love for you. That's true. But does that mean I must love everything you do? Is this the only way I can live? We can live within our supposedly home of the free and land of the brave. Has the new price for freedom become a weekly mandatory worship service at Our Lady of False Political Correct Church? Moreover, must I pay daily dues at your altar? Protection payments to conduct commerce, have a ban-free business, and live peacefully in the nation? Listen, if any of these questions is yes, our brave military served and died in vain. Yet, Mr. O'Reilly, millions know. They know of your awesome works within the military and helping children with your generous charitable donations, along with the rest of the Fox News family, and your buddy Sean Hannity. Now, I say buddy because there are reports that he's really not, and you guys need to come together in love. You really do. A rebuke from your brother, I say you should take heed. And Sean Hannity with his friend, Mr. Mark Levin. Shut up, you big dope! Listen, they have given me one of the best merciful examples of love giving, despite of the rhetoric and the spiteful words against the administration. I've ever heard on his radio show this love giving. It was just infectious. A very moving occurrence took place. Millions who listened may recall this special moment. And I'd like you to go and click on it because it is just awesome. I've never heard anything like it. And that's his heart. And what I'm saying is everyone's heart of giving and of love needs to come out for those they oppose, for us to come together as a nation. And however, sadly, like the left side, the so-called right side also have a false political church with radical religious followers who are warped in their thinking and bent on evil. Okay, now, is it your fault? Many mean-spirited members of your church party want to personally carry out their own death and destruction doctrines? Listen, I don't believe so. But you can bless them with many loving solutions, as you have shown on many times within your show, which can help soothe the savage beast. And yes, I love this guy. Mr. Walk of Fame member, Larry Elder, congratulations, young man. Mr. 10 Things You Can't Say in America. Well, I tell you, you have said quite a bit in us, the United States. You have said a great deal, which in many countries would not be tolerated. Most of which is very awesome, quite profound even. Yet, about Mr. Al Sharpton and Tuwali Brari, that story, give it up. Let it rest, young man. Enough is enough. Some of your interviews your opposition interviews are very great when you are opposed to someone else's message or, ideology. But the time on CNN Piers Morgan show was awful, young man. You made Mr. Morgan come off very nice and calm like former Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. But you were like Hitler. I dare say your blessed mother, the Chief Justice of the court, would not be pleased, young man. Yes, listen, I'm not saying anything against your great mother. She was awesome. And you know her better than I. Yet I do know your Father in heaven would be pleased if you just chilled a bit. And listen, it's not just you. It's many throughout the media world. And you are all a reflection of us. I was listening to a great Father's Day message aired on the Monique Marvez show. KFI Radio, from her father, she passed on some awesome advice, like wisdom from Proverbs. This is something everyone can do and win. He said, if you believe that you are the intellectual superior. Now let me get this right. Let me read it again. These are her words. She said from her father, if you believe that you are the intellectual superior in any interactional relationship, it is your moral obligation to see that it goes well. Now here's a link so you can hear it directly from her because she says it so nicely. She explained, since both parties think and believe they are right, intellectual superior, both should have the moral obligation to see that it goes well. And I would add, know the Lord is near. And that's in verse 5. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Philippians chapter 4, verse 5. New International Versions. And answers even from the Answer radio show are on the condemning bandwagon of no mercy. Here you have KRLA 870. I call them the Willie Boys. Sadly, you all have a healthy hand in destroying the nation with thy mouth. Now here's an old news alert. The Answer Boys jumped all over Gwyneth Paltrow. She said, these are her words, it's almost like how in war you go through this bloody dehumanizing thing. And then something is defined out of it. Let's break it down. The first part, all should understand, war is a bloody dehumanizing thing. I recall the words in the movie, the drama, Patton. He said, when you put your hand in a bunch of goo that a moment ago was your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. Awesome statement. Now, the end of Patton's statement explained the second part of her words. She said, something is defined out of it. The thing that is defined out of it is you will know what to do. You'll know how to react. How to deal with this dehumanizing thing. Now, in her world, that's what's going on. And more often than not, as negative, traumatic troubles take place in our lives, something positive is revealed. Miss Paltrow wasn't saying she's like our brave military fighting for their lives and the freedoms of this nation. And also, everyone should take note. The Almighty used the word war, referencing all kinds of struggle we face in life. Here's one, verse 23. But I see another law at work in the members of my body, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within my members. Romans chapter 7, verse 23 to 24, New International Version. Yes, that goes for you, Mr. Gallagher, Mr. Prager, Mr. Medved. I love what you say. In this greatest nation on God's green earth. That's an awesome phrase, young man, and it's very true. Also you, Mr. Hewitt, Mr. Miller, well, okay. You're all right. You're all right. But please help Mr. O'Reilly. He needs it. And Mr. James. Listen, Mr. James, we have much to accomplish in Los Angeles. Please contact me ASAP, young man. Please. 626-243-8200. Chuck@worldemergency.com. Listen, I really love you guys. I'm looking forward to meeting and working with you. Yet, I believe vindictive actions on all sides will soon silence all of us in the United States. Now, this is a noteworthy clip. I put this clip on pretty much every publication that I've written because it's so serious. What should you do before the Tribulation Age of 42 book? It's on page 214. Take a look at it. Here you have Babylon Radio, Words of Confusion. And you have Bill Press on one side and Rachel Maddow and Alan Combs. And here you have Mike Malloy as well as Ed Schultz and Norman Coleman. And on the right, you have Mr. Mark Levin and Michael Savage, the beautiful Laura Ingraham. Oh my. And you have that blessed man. He's not on Fox News. He's got his own thing going. The Lord is blessing him greatly. Mr. Glenn Beck, his own radio show. Mr. Hugh Hewitt, we've already talked about you, and Sean Hannity. Note to the radio and TV host featured, although this is a rebuke from your brother, your passion, I do admire. I mean that. But listen, throughout us, the United States, dog eat dog backbiting has become a vicious, let me read it direct, has become so vicious that the anger and hatred is more audible than any real communication. Very little talk is actually heard. Talk on so-called talk radio is but a soundbite. Screams and rage are the main themes of the program. This nasty wailing, or should we use a biblical term, weeping and gnashing of teeth, will end tragically with the 3-step death program of free speech. Step 1, homegrown terrorist attacks against opposing foes, unsettling citizens throughout the country. Step 2, our nation's economy free-falling and a paranoid public frightened about more to come. Step 3, a government inept or unable to stop chaotic events claiming political correctness is forced to cut off all media, not just talk radio, and beyond the so-called fairness doctrine, pass new hate crime legislation. All opposing views will soon be silent. No clarification, no rebuttal, and sadly, no truth. As the Creator says concerning the future of His word of truth. Here it is, verse 11. The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will send a famine throughout the land, not a famine of food or thirst or for water, but a famine of hearing the words of the Lord. Men will stagger from sea to sea, wandering from north to east, searching for the word of the Lord, but they will not find it. Amos chapter 8, verse 11 to 12, New International Version. Listen, since this is the soon coming future of even the word of God, which will take place worldwide, it will certainly be true for us in the United States. Now, don't be fooled. We are well on our way to silencing our own nation. Let's recap what we said in the beginning. Unholy, political correct way of justice in us. Number 1, ban a man for life. Number 2, fine him over $2 million. Number 3, declare him mentally insane or incapacitated or incompetent, whatever word you want to use, so He has no legal say. Number 4, then sell his team out from under him. Is this what you want? Some kind of American-style Sharia law? If so, beware what you wish for. You must know, when the unthinkable fall of our dollar takes place, an unthinkable history will repeat itself. And because of our self-inflicted wound, the deadliest history the world has ever seen is poised to repeat itself. Now here's a cartoon that I placed within the unthinkable fall of America. Here you have Mussolini and Hitler talking. This little blurb here, but really nothing is funny. Mussolini says, once we get Europe out of the way, we will go after America. Hitler says, yeah, that's a good idea. Mussolini, besides, Japan is already working on that. Hitler, that's right, Pearl Harbor was a good start. Mussolini, taking France was so very easy. Hitler, yeah, taking a piece of I can't even say it correctly. Croissant from a baby. Croissant. I'm sorry, French people. I don't mean to dump on you. I really don't. But it will be easy. It will be like taking a piece of croissant from a baby, because we're letting them do it. Without a strong, God-fearing nation to lead the nations, a vicious vacuum shift of tyrannical, fanatic leaders will emerge, and the nations will be silenced before them. Listen, it's time for us, the United States, to start producing. Start building and accomplishing great exploits, as a great superpower should. We had better get moving. China is buying up the world, extracting its natural resources like there is no tomorrow. And no tomorrow is where we will be if we do nothing as we're doing today. We're not even following, let alone leading. Again, time is not on our side. We have a definite but short opportunity to do something extraordinary, great for us. It's time for the United States to get back to being great. Again, China is thinking big. They have awesome goals of which they are striving to achieve. You should already know or heard the announcement of China to build a train to America. That's right, from China and Russia underneath the ocean, throughout Alaska to Canada and to us. Now here's the awesome train, the bullet train from China. Now whether they achieve it or not, it's not the point. China is thinking about the ABCs, advancing, building, and creating, to growth, jobs, and opportunity. And their leaders are focusing on achieving it on a global scale. That's the point. Listen, we can't even build a high-speed rail within the state of California. And why? Because our focus is on nonsense. That's scandal. What scandal? What's the scandal today? Oh, the mayor said a bad word. Who's it today? Prodding, looking, accusing. Who's the new racist this week? What? You must change your racist, political incorrect name. Don't say Redskins. But if you must, refer to it as the R word. I believe the two R's, standing for ridiculous religion, would sum up this foolishness nicely. Hypocritical, self-righteous, political correct church. Listen, here's a question. What are we to do about the NWA? Okay? The NWA. What are we to do? Now, listen, okay, let's play the National Family Feud game. What do you think NWA stands for? All right? First answer. National Weather Association. Ah! I love that noise. Northwest Airlines. Ah! National Wrestling Alliance. Ah! All those are wrong. Survey says NAA stands for niggas with attitudes. That's right. NAA, the world's most dangerous group. Here's a banner of Ice Cube and all of his friends, along with Dr. Dre. That's right, you are a winner. And so are they. Arguably the greatest rap group success story ever in the history of the world. Now, this is a little news alert. Millionaires. Yes, and Dr. Dre, we know, just reached billionaire status. If he wasn't there already, according to TMZ, they can't hip hop mogul. They don't even announce themselves like that. TMZ, you need to, you're just so white. They state Dr. Dre plans to sell his Beats electronic brand to Apple for $3.2 billion. That's awesome. Here's a wisdom from the hood note from the author Chuck Thompson. This awesome achievement tells everyone, whether you are in the entertainment business or a famous athlete, you will never have more success with your body than you can with your mind. Now, we must all understand that. God has given us awesome ability to reason, to think, to build, and create. And as that old statement, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, that's exactly what this country is doing. Every man, woman, and child within her. Well, not everyone. There are some great, awesome exploits being done. Now, but back to the NAA. There's no protest. No one is banning anyone here. No business selling, no name changing, no government outcry stepping in to force any change whatsoever. Nor should they. That's if we still live in a country which values free speech. And any government official, and listen carefully, who values your own life should review the phrase "bust a cap" before knocking at their door. All right, okay. Is that a stereotype? Yes. Is it also likely to be true? Also, yes. It's your choice. If you don't like their name, listen to something else. In the case of Apple Inc., purchasing the earbuds headphone system over $3 billion, if you don't like the name, don't support them. Yet because hypocrisy reigns high, if the NAA was displayed on the designs, on all of them, the product sales might be astronomical on an international scale. Now you know what I'm saying is correct. And you have John and Jillian on KABC reporting along with the Redskins name as offensive to some. Blackhawks and Apache helicopters are added to their list. Now listen, here's my solution. Since NAA, niggas with attitudes, is okay, let's name the Blackhawks and Apache helicopters NAA. Moreover, change the Redskins name to Niggas with Attitudes with a big NAA logo on the side of their helmets. All right, listen, I'm just joking, but can we still do that in America? And in no way should the Washington Redskins owner nor the league in any way fear any government official pressuring to change their name. Our government, that's supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people, should not be in the business of forcing name changes on its people. That restrictive, narrow-minded thinking is not going to build us, the United States, a high-speed railroad. That's not achieving the ABCs, advancing, building, and creating. Sadly, we have the D and E letters standing for deteriorating economy down perfectly. And listen, make no mistake about it, it's everybody's fault. Understand, many throughout the international community are hostile towards our almighty dollar, which today is not so mighty. Again, China and other global partners want to replace America's dollar's dominance in the worst way. Surely you have heard about the BRICS. That's right, BRICS. The government and dictatorship ruling over the so-called BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, agreed to set up a new World Bank that analysts say could further marginalize the increasingly unstable U.S. dollar, possibly helping to eventually dethrone it as the global reserve currency. Now, this is a story by Alex Newman. Listen, when the unthinkable American dollar collapses, all of our money, savings account, checkings account, stocks, bonds, IRAs, 401ks, property, and other investments will be worthless. And yes, that includes basketball franchises. All sports centers within us may be empty. A global group of nations, Commonwealth, please remember that word, that phrase, will take our place in economic world dominance. It won't just be eroded as it is today. It will be erased. That's right, the $2 billion price tag for the Clippers will be worth close to zero unless a foreign owner is utilizing the Staples Center. It too may be empty. Foreigners will replace us as owners and operators of everything within us, the United States. Everything we take for granted today will be run by a foreign enterprise, or not at all, just empty. Now, the colossal failure of this future reality will be written over our face as foreigners take our place. The grief will be evident. This moves me to remember the profound words of the old Temptation song titled, "I Know I'm Losing You." It's all over your face. Someone is taking my place. Ooh, I'm losing you. You try hard to hide the emptiness inside. Ooh, I can tell I'm losing you. Yes. We will lose this great nation. And the detailed scope of it is unthinkable. Services on all levels of government will be affected and infected by foreign interests, federally and locally. First of all, when the country is bankrupt by the dollar collapse, no local services will be provided because no valid funds will be available to pay government employees. The police, fire department, search and rescue teams won't be rescuing anyone unless it's out of the goodness of their heart. And our daily bread, of which millions of us take so much for granted within this nation of abundance, will soon be a daily struggle finding any bread at all. Today we must enact a program which will provide the basic necessities of life: food, clothes, shelter, emergency first aid. Yet tragically today, we still have difficulty providing those basic necessities, even when our trees are still green. This is unthinkable. Troubles will arise when the tree is dry. Awesome troubles. And Christ warned us. He warned everyone before he was crucified. Verse 31, "For if men do these things when the tree is green, what will happen when it is dry? Luke chapter 23, verse 31, New International Version. To provide the basic daily necessities, we can and must establish a continuous source of national funding, and not from raising taxes. Let's stop doing that. Or a new spending plan or any new legislation, frustration, but from building, providing the goods and services needed, not just nationwide, but globally. Now, everyone knows about the Bitcoins, and before all world currencies collapse, many more innovative currencies will be introduced as the next best thing. Nevertheless, I repeat, all world currencies will collapse. A new barter system will be introduced as a more solid, successful way of world trade, buying goods and services. This is biblical. It's inevitable. Therefore, let us, the United States, jump ahead of the line with the world emergency dollar, a barter trading currency. The world emergency dollar will be used to acquire the basic necessities of life: food, clothes, shelter, and emergency first aid. Set prices for these basic goods will be established by the world markets. World emergency dollars will be acquired by purchasing goods and services from established emergency provision information centers, set up nationwide to provide the basic necessities of life: food, clothes, shelter, emergency first aid. These centers will be privately funded by corporations across the country, yet will be housed by local and federal agencies. Locally, providing assistance will come from the police, the fire department, search and rescue teams, FEMA, the CDC, and other homeland security agencies. These communication centers will provide a foundation of teaching citizens which live around the centers knowledge and understanding of what to do and how to do in the terrorist attack or threat within our the natural environment that we live in today is comforting, but it soon will be unnatural. Unnatural disasters or terrorist attacks or threats, this knowledge will be taught. It must be taught. We're well behind in doing this for all the citizens within this country. But building 10,000 emergency economic job training centers nationwide will provide 10 million new jobs and $1 trillion of new revenue on an annual basis. And when goods are purchased, you will receive 42% emergency dollars credit. These emergency dollars credits will be given directly to the buyer. Yet if funds are invested into the centers, 100% in world emergency dollar credits is given to the buyer. This means your investment will never go down, nor can it ever crash or collapse like, again, other currencies will. The secure benefits with your world emergency dollar credits is you will always be able to purchase emergency products in times of disasters. You will have the means to purchase what you want, but more importantly, what you need. And please believe me, as chaotic events take place throughout us and roll throughout the international community, your needs will trump your wants any day. The whole world, as in days of old, will be forced to focus on just the basic necessities of life. Listen, I'm getting way ahead of myself. The details are within the solutions section explaining the Watchman program. You can go to watchmanprogram.com. In this publication, and completely inside my book entitled Reconciling Us a Revolution, you will understand the entire plan. And here's a banner of some key pages within Reconciling Us a Revolution. Now, I desperately need your help. A complete assistant team, spectrum, is needed from the news media, the entertainment industry, and corporate America. Now here's a banner of my team. You have A. Martinez and Alex Cohen. You have the beautiful Ramona Shelburne and Mr. Mason and Ireland. First, Mr. A. Martinez and his City News partner, Alex Cohen, will be a perfect fit. A. Martinez has the best of both worlds, from the soft sports to the hard news, a balanced combination, which will bless Mr. Sterling with the opportunity of a lifetime. Next, the news breaking Miss Ramona Shelburne, future counselor of pro sports players. I do mean that very sincerely. She knows her stuff with a very impressive contact list. Ramona, as you know, the meaning of your name is Counselor Protection. A name with such profound meaning should never be downgraded to Momo. The nickname from Mason and Ireland, ER, Exclusive Ramona, or Mrs. Exclusive, is more like what you do or who you've become. Yet since you give so much wisdom, when many professional sports athletes get into trouble, a PR, public relations manager, is in your future. You will be the manager and the future for all those in sports. This will fulfill your calling as Counselor Protection. Now, to the Mason and Ireland show. Along with Mr. Max Kellerman, boys, you need to repent. Your insolent words were reprehensible. Yet, listen, when you were once a respected voice. I don't know if you remember, but I sent you a message in regards to Mr. Sterling. He would listen to you as a voice of importance. I believe your fan base listens to your show for constructive, not destructive sports analysis. I mean, you guys are just going off the cliff here. But listen, I still need your help desperately, because you have such awesome connections and been blessed with so much wisdom from the eternal. Call me, young man. I need your help. You have an important relationship with the Bus family, especially the beautiful Jeannie. Pitch the Lakers and Clippers portable sports centers. Proposal to them. The Citrus will bless the teams and the city with new revenue, great revenue in the billions. I guarantee it. Now you have the other second team, Mr. Neil Cavuto on Fox Business, Mr. Don Lemon, CNN, and Shepard Smith, again, Fox News. Starting with Mr. Cavuto, global business host. You're a must-needed asset on the team. Through you and your international economic analyzers, details of the emergency renewable energy job training economic communication centers will be explained. I sent you a short video clip. Please view it, young man. Mr. Lemon. Young man, as you know, the cities within the country is like a world gone mad. Not just the serious problems of the mentally ill, but those who claim to be sane, all the while slaying their neighbors throughout the hoods within us, the United States. Now, since I was born in Chicago, 11/22, 1963, at Illinois Research Hospital, the same day John F. Kennedy was murdered, I would love to start there. Call me my brother, please. 626-243-8200. Now, Mr. Shepard Smith, you have given heartwarming reports regarding Detroit, and I believe together we can heal the once great global Motown city to sing in harmony once again. Yes, okay. I can see it now. My ex-wife, may the Lord bless her, said that I was kind of corny. But listen, the country, our country, singing in harmony is what this nation truly needs today. Like the lyrics of that old Coca-Cola song, I like to buy the world a home. let me stop there. Very profound. This is what our whole mindset should be throughout, not just the government officials, but every citizen within the nation. I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. Wow. I just watched that commercial on YouTube. Now here's a link. It brings tears to my eyes. My, I just... Anyone viewing, if it doesn't warm your heart, pray to the Lord to take out the stony heart and bless you with a compassionate heart of flesh. Yet, we can't bring the beauty back to the city of Detroit. Now listen, here's the deal. I will personally move in, fix and transform the city house by house, block by block, and build every neighborhood into renewable energy homes. Then move immediately all the immigrant families, children, illegals, whatever terminology you want to call them, into the thousands of homes that are now empty and abandoned. Last report, it was like 78,000 homes. And yet we are scattering the illegal aliens, okay, in our nation, calling them immigrants, whatever. But we can teach them. They can learn. We can teach them English. I'm getting way ahead of myself again. But yet, move them, transform, build these homes, hire the neighbors and the professionals throughout the many neighborhoods within Detroit, and bring that city back. We will enlist hundreds of volunteer college students receiving college credits to teach them English, along with other basic skills, to send them back to teach citizens within their own country. Moreover, our military, men and women coming home, now looking for work as civilians, can be employed to guide and direct them, helping keep the peace. LLRP, Live, Learn, Return program will be completely paid for by sponsor corporations. Here's the blog at watchmanprogram.com. The entire video presentation is provided. Now, finally, I need the crucial 3, the new Mod Squad. Now, listen, don't they look just like him? Here we have John Phillips, the beautiful Jillian Barbary. Meta World Peace, MOD Squad. They look just like that squad. These 3 will be the national media promoting team. Impressed with your commerce casino partnership success, you work and match well together. Like the Mod Squad TV show. Operating as, now we're going to change it, as the MOD Media Opportunity Director Squad. You will be remotely recording live radio shows on location at media centers throughout the country, reporting on daily events as they happen. Also needed is your, of course, celebrity status, inviting other celebrities to promote the new emergency communication media centers as they come online. No one could turn down the beautiful Miss Barbary, doll. Please, dinner, please. Listen, you're all my dream team. I need all of you. We can bless the American dream to be a reality that has been lost to millions of citizens within us. Therefore, now, let us begin. Here we have Mexico and the USA Joint Ventures Economic and Ecological Proposal. Portable Renewable Energy. PER, Portable Renewable Energy Centers. Immigration's Watchman Program. New international industry. It's a new facilities industry. Now listen, more blessed action should have been done, but this is what's going to be done. The Sterling Project Initiative, the Global Emergency Renewable Energy Health Exchange Information Job Training Centers, the Sterling Project, and the Watchman Program. Instead of cursing Donald Sterling by banning him for life, the league could have blessed him. Blessed the Clippers, the city of Los Angeles, the state, and the nation, establishing a fund for less privileged children. The $2.5 billion fine demanded could have been asked as a donation. I believe Mr. Sterling would be moved to offer something even more beneficial for everyone. Yes, even now, as the trial is coming up and there's so much chaos, the Sterling Project can provide $25 million starter scholarship fund for students. And all of these students, and many of them, probably almost 100% are in financial distress. But this will be open to all, not just minorities. This college starter fund will provide $25,000 each to 1,000 students. To qualify, students would simply volunteer their time at the new Sterling Community Health Centers established throughout the city. Now, I'm going to speak on more details regarding the Sterling Job Training Communication Centers. Here's a video link, watchmanprogram.blog.com. Basically, breaking down $25 million divided by 1,000 students, receiving $25,000 each in a college cash grant, can be completed by the new NBA season, before the season opener, and it will be just in time for the college school year. Students giving the grant will receive an unprecedented learning opportunity, including the NBA, Los Angeles City, and Mr. Sterling, all helping each other and learning a wealth of life lessons. Not only would this blessed action be on the part of Mr. Sterling to help make atonement for his, unfortunately, tone of words and actions, but also help mend fences with the community throughout the cities. And again, this gift of love can still be activated. Working with the NBA, the city, Mr. Sterling, the Mr. Sterling Project, and even the church he attends, all will be involved. Now, moving forward, we can make the community better, as not just in the eyes of the NAACP, National Association for Advancement Colored People. No, okay, which is amazing that that name still exists. But there's no protest there. Yet they're doing awesome work. Many make mistakes, but we're all here to overcome and grow. But in the only realize that counts, the OOWRS, the omnipotent one who reigns supreme, that's the one we all should be striving to please. This reconciliation action, with all parties reaching out, Donald Sterling, the league, the owners, the players, and fans, will certainly be much more beneficial than banning someone for life. Here, verse 14. God does not take away life. Instead, he devises ways so that a banished person may not remain estranged from him. 2 Samuel, verse 14 to 14, New International Version. We need to reconcile ourselves, or revolution. That's what we will have within this nation. Reconciling us, or revolution, a bigger, better solution. Now here you have Microsoft, renewable energy, OWN, that is the Oprah Winfrey Network, job training, and Tesla, emergency communicating centers. This is what will be born out of the chaos and confusion that we've caused to ourselves. This is the awesome opportunity that lays before us to be a nation of productive entrepreneurs, a light and example for the entire global community. The widely reported sale of the Clippers for $2 billion to Steve Ballmer, former Microsoft CEO, as the new owner is awesome news. Actually, I was hoping for Oprah Winfrey and her own network to receive the sterling silver blessing. Yet this change of events is even more a blessing because now they can join forces, venture up and become a magnet, a magnificent media magnet, and not just nationwide, but worldwide. An awesome opportunity, not only to transform the face of a franchise, but the face of a nation can begin. These Microsoft-owned media centers will be located on every sponsorship property, such as Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's Department Store, Sears, Target, Costco, and Lowe's home improvement stores, all placed within their parking lot structures. Starting in Los Angeles, these media communication centers will help solve the real serious problems plaguing the nation. Yes, the same budget deficits plaguing every city throughout the country, along with the police, the fire department, search and rescue teams, are all in great need of supplies, equipment, and personnel. And yes, new revenue. Also, major federal departments such as FEMA, the CDC, and other Homeland Security agencies will be working side by side to help prevent terrorism. The new revenue generating industry, this new facilities industry, will help pay an estimated 1/3 of all current budgets for all government services, local, federal, throughout the union. That's right. Along with Mr. Sterling, started it off. $25 million gift of 1,000 scholarships, $25,000 each, established. And perhaps Oprah and other associates can match the $25 million for Chicago students. And also Mr. Ballmer, making most of his millions within the Washington State, Seattle area, promising not to take the Clippers home, can still build a stadium in his Seattle home with the revenue generated by setting up the Watchman program. Now, listen, yes, okay, I'm hoping out loud for other people's money. However, giving is infectious. Now, you can also do this for any stadium that needs to be set up with any city in any community throughout the union by these Watchman program centers, bringing in the revenue and jobs needed within those areas. No tax dollars needed, no raising taxes, no new spending plan, just building and creating jobs and providing the revenue that is needed will be done. And once these community volunteer giving centers begin, they will continue to grow. Training of first, second, and third emergency responders, job training fairs, healthcare information services, especially for military veterinarians, will all become a permanent giving arm for the citizens within all of our communities. Again, all media, news, sports, current events, emergency information facilities will be sponsored by the corporations which establish businesses throughout the city, the state, and the nation. The primary purpose of these portable news and sports centers, which will operate on renewable energy, is to provide new jobs and revenue opportunities throughout the cities while building a strong sense of community through volunteer services, helping those who work and who are working within the service industry will educate and build vital skills throughout. This new portable renewables facilities industry will promote not just the sports industry, but job training industry. All Microsoft communicating learning facilities will grow to include locally the police, the fire department, search and rescue teams, FEMA, Homeland Security, the CDC, and other services providing needs of the citizens in times of crisis. Now, listen, the students who won the starter scholarships will learn invaluable social skills, volunteering their time with the local and federal agencies. The citizens living near the centers will also benefit as local job trade fairs are conducted. These community centers will also include a volunteer health services, providing vital information on what to do and how to do within any unnatural disaster, which is increasingly taking place within us. Terrorist attacks or threats will also be learned to be dealt with and communicated with the proper authorities. This will be a vital key service for all communities because the disasters have increased. Citizens volunteering their time with knowledge and understanding must also increase. We should all understand much bigger and more serious issues face the city and the whole country. Mental illness is rising at an alarming rate, and so are the tragic killings associated with it. And establishing these health counseling centers will go a long way, providing vital guidance and direction for those in need of care. And in addition, integration of the military, the veterans, will be a priority, giving them the job opportunities within all information, health, job training centers. Moreover, the vital military personnel coming home to civilian life will be hired as administrators, directors, and operation community center managers. Now listen, let us not forget, the best part of, it's really not a laughing matter because we're all broke. Every city and state within the union is contemplating bankruptcy. The best part of these portable renewable energy communication community centers is they're all paid for by the department store corporations that sponsor them. Again, stores like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's department store, Sears, Target, Costco, the wonderful Walmart, I love to call it, because they have the most strategic place of stores across the nation, as well as internationally. And the international stores will also, those corporations will participate because we will cross the seas and take this emergency energy communication centers globally. They will also gladly give up their cash to build and house them on their parking lot structures where the citizens will come and join together, being a magnet of opportunity for all who live in and around these centers. Now, why, you ask? Because these corporations will earn greater business and larger share of revenue than was paid to sponsor them. The revenue generated will not just be in the millions, but billions will pour out as the magnet of activity and opportunity is concentrated at all store locations where the job training communication centers rest. Also, partner food outlets like Subway, I love Subway, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Starbucks, and perhaps a portable organic farmers market, yes, to make the First Lady happy. All will share the costs as sub-sponsors. This income will be a great benefit, another great source of revenue for the main department store sponsors. Even more beneficial, the corporations that sponsor these renewable energy facilities will establish many new portable products and services to be sold throughout the nation and the community internationally. The international community will benefit. Drought and famines are throughout all cities and states within our own union, as well as the global community. The portable farms will be essential and the portable desalination systems. Portable water systems with desalinized water will provide the precious liquid resource that we all need on a daily basis. This needs to be pumped out of the ocean and the seas as desalinized, clean, purified water and trucked in with biodiesel trucks and all sorts of other new innovative vehicles that will be built by Tesla and trucked in by Tesla, being a part of this new renewables portable energy facilities network. A new portable facilities industry will be born. Understand, all these renewable energy units are designed as individual containers, steel structures all connected together to place and are placed side by side to complete one center where you can walk in from one to the other, and they can be moved in the time of disaster. If there's an earthquake, fire, flood, or civil unrest, you can simply move it out of the area that is threatened and move it back when the threat is gone. We need to be mobile. Now, I just want to break down the structure of sponsors. The department store corporations, which sponsor these facilities, will pay the construction companies to build them. The construction companies will be mandated to work with local colleges, universities, and higher learning institutions. The students attending these facilities will help build all community centers on the very grounds where they learn. Yet the Watchman program is much bigger than the community centers because the students will also build portable homes, schools, offices, emergency medical units, and portable farms, all operating on new renewable energy technologies. That's right, our students will be on the front lines of this new technology, getting a head start of the international community. Financial achievements. The department store corporation sponsors provide these new product and services. Hey, they get paid. The construction companies contacted to design the emergency centers, they get paid. The higher learning institutions working with construction companies get paid. The students working with the building agencies also handsomely get paid. Those who work directly at the store locations where the centers are placed, maintaining the facilities, get paid. That's it. Here's the personal jobs and revenue generated. This is the potential of jobs and revenue generated. Building 10,000 emergency economic job training centers nationwide will provide, again, 10 million new jobs and $1 trillion of new revenue on an annual basis. Let us recap this, okay? This new portables facility industry, which again includes new homes, schools, offices, emergency medical units, portable farms, and greatly needed portable water desalination systems, providing fresh water pulled from the plentiful sea placed throughout the many cities and towns within the country, especially those drought-stricken areas, will be an irreplaceable blessing. Now, again, let us have a meeting of the minds. The Federal Reserve is currently spending about $45 billion in bonds per month, and that might have gone down since. That's down from the reported over $85 billion per month at the beginning of 2014. Yet at the beginning of 2013, if just 1 month of those funds went towards building the 10,000 emergency economic job training information renewable energy centers, an estimated 10 million jobs would have been established with $1 trillion in new revenue. That's right. All the budget problems, all of them, that face this country, and deficits that face every city and state throughout the Union can be systematically solved by establishing this new jobs and revenue plan. I repeat, the new revenue generated will help pay an estimated 1/3 of all current budgets for all governmental services, local and federal, throughout the Union. Now, this all starts with the Sterling Project. This project will transform into a system of renewable energy facilities for job training, emergency communication, and information health centers, which will prove the Watchman program to be the most innovative, economic, and ecological success the city, state, and the nation has ever seen. The Watchman program will go a long way cleaning up our tarnished image back to sterling silver. Perhaps, if time allows, as the Mr. Sterling project progresses, Mr. Sterling himself can write his memoirs titled The Sterling Transformation. All proceeds going towards the job training centers. It will be a guaranteed bestseller. Remember, verse 11, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pitchers of silver. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 11, New King James Version. The Watchman program is the solution. Now, we must, as a nation, implement these renewable energy industries to revitalize ourselves economically and ecologically, or soon we will cease to be a nation. Tragically, as you should know, we're already the world's most debtor nation. The Watchman program bankruptcy bailout plan major cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, but all cities and states throughout the Union will be blessed. A new jobs and revenue solution proposal. Yet, there is still one last great success story to be told about us, the United States, the most prosperous country on earth, will have the opportunity once again to show why we have been and are still the greatest nation on the face of the earth. A nation blessed by God.